everybody. Welcome to a 3 episode adventure of my TTRPG, Shadowlight and Persona. I am joined by three enterprising young individuals who will be playing this evening. My name is Craig. I am the chorus in Shadowlight and Persona. We refer to the moderator as the chorus, like in Greek tragedy. The chorus is kind of the background and stands in as all the NPCs and wears a variety of hats. So I have been playing TTRPGs for a very long time. I've been running them and designing them for about half as long as I've been playing them. Uh, Shadowlight and Persona was first envisioned in approximately 2007 and is sat on the shelf for a very long time until I decided to take it up, polish it off, and publish it properly. So that is in progress and is currently in layout. I will pass it on to Steve. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, hi. Hello. I'm Steve. I'm a creator of sorts. I stream on Twitch. Been doing so for about 2 years. 1 year of which has been playing TTRPGs. I played my first ever TTRPG on stream, which is probably not what they advise you to do. But hey, I was like, why not? I recently celebrated 1 year of playing TTRPGs with this big charity stream. I run my own TTRPG AP studio, which is only 3 weeks old at this point, 4 weeks old, I think. It's called Pantsless Tables, which yeah, it's called that because I go by Sassy Pants on online. So I just figured, and my whole stick is I don't wear pants. So Pantsless Tables, that's what it is. Um, that's me. Hi.
Awesome. Percival, how about you?
Hiya, I'm Percival, pronouns he, she, they. I am a writer on off screen and a fairly new but getting their TTRPG player for the last couple of months. And I'm super excited to be here uh, to play this game with everyone. Really looking forward to it.
And last but not least, Julia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Julia. I use any pronouns. I'm currently getting over a cold, so my voice does not normally sound like this. I'm an off Broadway actor and playwright. I've been playing tabletop RPGs for about 7 years. This is my very first actual play, so I'm very happy and excited and a little bit nervous to be here, but very, very grateful to be playing this game with you all. So, yeah, thank you.
Well, I will readily admit that I always am nervous whether I'm playing or running, primarily when I'm running, and especially when I'm running my own game. But um, one of the things, especially for Percival and Steve, you guys being a little bit newer to TTRPGs, basically, I would say that primarily this is a means of shared storytelling and a means of collective pretend. We'll use the dice when we need to, but if the fiction is rolling and we're all kind of in agreement with things, that's the primary focus is what makes sense in the fiction and what we all agree upon as a group. Um, a brief uh, overview of Shadowlight and Persona. So, Shadowlight and Persona is a role playing game of discovery and investigation of um, supernatural mysteries, basically things that catch people's attention that seem weird or unusual and get them curious. And as they try and find out what those curiosities are all about, they discover that the world that they live in is possibly way bigger, way more nuanced, way more complicated. Um, and then they may start to realize that theirs isn't the only world that's out there. Uh, it that's basically and every Shadowlight and Persona game is not necessarily always going to take place in the same genre or the same setting or the same time period. Just like a lot of anthology fiction that's out there, which is primarily one Shadowlight and Persona's primary inspiration. Anthology television. Some episodes will be set in space, and some of them will be westerns, and some of them will be uh, modern, take place in the modern day. So really, it all depends on what everybody decides in advance. So we talked about in advance what kind of Shadowlight and Persona game we wanted to play. Everyone kind of agreed on the modern day as our look, our vibe for where our story will take place. And uh, so we talked about basically Westchester County, New York State. Um, I would, if you're not familiar with the area, I recommend, everything that you possibly could need to look up regionally. You can go on Google Maps, you can go on Wikipedia. Basically, if you imagine the island of Manhattan, it's flanked on two sides by two different rivers. You have the Hudson River to the west, and you have the East River to the east. If you follow the Hudson River north, and you get outside of Manhattan, you get into Westchester County, and Westchester County uh, is long, tall, not very, and kind of narrow. And so where we're going to at least be starting is at the northernmost end of Westchester County, in an area um, basically collectively referred to as Yorktown. So it's US Highway 6, and US Highway 6 runs east and west. The biggest nearby town is called Peekskill, and as you head east from Peekskill, you wind your way through um, kind of a sleepy part of the Northeast of the United States. Basically, US Highway 6 cuts through a lot of wooded area and is sort of dotted by small villages that have been around mostly since I would say probably 18th, 19th century. Um, but everything there that's in the present day, there are Taco Bells, there are Dunkin' Donuts, there's Starbucks. Um, it ranges. There's a Home Depot somewhere there. There are a couple of malls in the area. One where the mall seems like the 80s forgot it, like left it behind, and it's still around. So it's varied, but it's definitely sleepy. And that's where we're going to get things started. And so, how would we like to? Do we want to introduce our characters before we start play, or do we want to introduce them in the middle of play? What do you think?
I'm cool either way.
So,
Uh, mm,
oh,
I'm also cool either way, but like depending on like depending on the scenario that's going to follow, I would lean towards the latter.
okay. So you guys don't want to give a little blurb about your character in advance. You want to hold off and let everybody meet each other um, during play. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So, where we're going to start is at the Mohegan Diner. So, one of the things about the Northeast of the United States, is primarily New York, New Jersey, is diners are 24 hours and they never close. And you can get just about anything you want to eat at any given time of day. You could have meatloaf at 3 in the morning. You could have pancakes at 11 o'clock at night. It doesn't. There's really the concept of what constitutes breakfast, lunch, and dinner food really just sort of goes out the window. Um, the coffee is usually pretty good, depending on the quality of the diner. Um, but all three of you are in this diner, and it's let's say it's like, I don't know, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's gotten to be light outside. Um, I'll also say that it's probably about this time, at least uh, in the United States on the East Coast. We're definitely, fall is in full swing. Um, the leaves are starting to change color. The air is starting to get crisper as the humidity get drops. Um, so uh, so we'll start with Declan. So what brings Declan into this diner at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday?
Declan is from this town. He lives here. He does not like being in his house. He has to. He's come back home for reasons that he did not want to outside his control, and just as much as he cannot be in his childhood home as possible is the ideal scenario. So he's here, just trying to not think about the things he has to do. Should I talk a little bit about what he looks like?
Sure, go ahead.
So Declan Marsh, him, is a man in his early 20s. He's about 5'9", 5'10". Kind of just looks like some guy, honestly. Like he's wearing a white and blue checkered button down with some khakis and some brown leather shoes. He wears black glasses, kind of reddish brown hair, clean shaven, maybe like a little bit of stubble. The most like distinct thing about him is on the underside of his left arm. He has a tattoo of a Rorschach test. But other than that, he looks like a total background character, and he's probably just like at a table with a coffee and a paper and like a donut or something, and he's just chilling.
Okay, cool. I was about to ask next where he would be, if he would be at the counter or if he would be at a table, but you answered that for me. So, uh, which is it Quentin your character's first name, Percival, or is it
Last
Ashvini?
name.
Okay, so
It's
Ashvini.
Ashwini.
Is nickname there at all?
They
Do people call
usually
him Ash?
uh yeah, his colleagues do call her Quentin when they're on the call when they're on the job.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so Ashvini, you're in this diner as well. Tell us what you look like and where you're sitting.
So Ashwini is kind of uh kind of occupying two seats on the at the bar, and is kind of just nodding off on the table there. She's a 6'2", dark brown skinned, very fine, delicate features, long, like Fabio level long hair, and lo- sh- he looks, you can never quite place whether like he looks both androgynous and also not, like looks like Fabio, but also gives off the vibes of like a very, but also gives off like, I don't know,
Femme
I'm only getting
presenting.
Bollywood references here, but I would say Aishwarya Rai vibes, like just just a very tall graceful woman, but
Okay,
also at the same time very androgynous. So like it's
gotcha.
this, yeah. So she's still in her paramedic uniform. She's just come off a shift, and she's kind of nodding off at the bench and just waiting for her usual stack of banana pancakes to come.
And last but not least, we have Spencer.
Um, okay, so Spencer is um, the definition of this fucking guy, right? He walks in to the tavern.
Okay.
He's gonna walk into the tavern with his hood on. He's wearing a hoodie basically, so his head is covered. His sleeves are rolled up to his elbows on his hoodie, which looks like it's basically destroyed the fabric, but like it doesn't seem like he cares. You can see a couple of tattoos on his arms, light brown skinned. Um, his eyes look like he hasn't slept in days, but if you look even a little bit closely under the light, you will notice that it's not actual dark circles. He's literally applied makeup under his eyes to make it look like he has dark circles, because he
Ah.
likes the vibe that, oh, I haven't slept in 4 days, but it's really like he gets a decent 8 hours of sleep every night. Even at 7 a.m. he's got 8 hours of sleep, so he's good. And he's just
Batman
gonna walk
wannabe.
straight. Yeah, exactly. Basically, yeah, he's he's basically seen Mr. Robot like maybe 5 times this year, and he's obsessed with Elliot,
And
and
he's
he
made it
wants to
his
look
entire
like, yeah,
personality.
Oh no.
basically, yes. So he's yeah, so he walks in to the diner. Even though he tries to be as much as Elliot as possible, he also loves being the center of attention. So he's just walked in, and he's flung the doors open, and he has his arms outstretched like fucking Shah Rukh Khan in like a 90s Bollywood movie, and he makes a beeline towards the bar. Doesn't matter who's bar who's sorry, at the counter. Doesn't matter who's on shift. He knows their name, and he orders his usual coffee and a steak at 7 a.m., because that's who he is.
Sounds good to me. I mean, throw 3 scrambled eggs on top of that steak, and I'm down. Uh, so uh, so Spencer, um, based on what you gave me earlier today, what I'm going to kind of establish is um, you, because of your this persona that you put this attitude, this vibe that you put out into the world, like people have called you a thief before, but you prefer to refer to yourself as kind of like an urban explorer, an urban adventurer. You go and you find ruined places, you find abandoned buildings, and you basically go delving through them in order to see if you can find anything valuable. Because hey, you know what? If nobody owns the building and somebody's left it behind, well, you know what? Finders keepers. Um,
Weird
so
reverse colonization, but okay.
hey, I mean, this is his attitude. This is his character's attitude towards the thing. So, you know, feel free to judge, but the chorus doesn't. Uh, so, Ashwini, um, basically, if the closest hospital for you is called, or has been in the past called Hudson Valley Hospital Center, was recently taken over by a very large hospital system out of Manhattan called New York Presbyterian. So it's now called New York Presbyterian Hudson Valley Hospital Center. And that's one of the larger hospitals that you wind up trafficking um, people to when it comes time when they need to be taken to the hospital. Basically, the farthest out that you've ever had to go is to an area further west called the Catskills. The Catskills are a very popular kind of resort area in New York State. Um, there's a regional hospital there. There's Hudson Valley Medical Center, and so that's basically kind of that whole east-west corridor is where you primarily stick to. Um, and you swear that this guy that just walked in, that just threw open the doors and has his hoodie and whatever, and looks like he's a tough guy, even though I mean, what are his like height and all that? Like what is Spencer?
I would say Spencer's pretty tall. He's about 6 foot tall, probably taller, and he doesn't try to hide it at all. So yeah.
You swear you brought this guy to the hospital like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Somebody called 911 and said that they found him unconscious outside of some abandoned house. Um, and you brought him to the hospital. You swear he matches the the height, the dark circles under his eyes, the tattoos, and so it's just and your uh, your danger sense is it's not telling you that he's dangerous. It's telling you that like there's something uncanny about like yeah. And not to mention the fact that he swung up the doors like a jerk. Like like he probably could have hurt somebody. He probably could have hit somebody with the doors. Um, so
You know,
I'll let you guys uh, kind of marinate on that for just a second, and I'll go to Declan. So um, as Declan is sitting there drinking his coffee and reading his newspaper and eating, what kind of donut is he eating?
Oh, probably just like a classic glazed, you know.
Okay, okay.
I said he's
Um,
some guy.
that's fine, I guess. Um, anyway, so you Declan gets the feeling like the hairs on the back of his neck are starting to stand up a little bit, and like he's not by himself. Like he knows the sense of being in this space. I mean, I would imagine he probably comes here on a fairly regular basis, or has been ever since he came to town. And even though when there's other patrons inside the diner, um, he knows the difference between when he's there and he's alone, and when he's there and he's not. And this is and maybe he's been sitting there for like an hour, about thereabouts, and all of a sudden it's like it gives him pause. And what do you do?
Um, I'll do like a casual look over my shoulder, just see if anyone's happens to be looking at me.
You see a gentleman, an older gentleman, maybe kind of in his 60s, um, long white hair, mustache and goatee, dressed conservatively, solid colors with a kind of a chocolate brown long coat, or top coat. Um, and he's carrying a leather briefcase. And he takes a brief glance around the room, and just as you look up and he makes eye contact with you, and you recognize him, he is um, one of your mother's friends.
Yep. Okay. I like I like do that thing where you like make eye contact with someone who you were looking at and you don't want them to know, so you like look and then you quickly like and like pretend you weren't looking, but it's like not subtle.
Uh, and he sort of he realizes that he's spotted you, and he comes over to your table. I'm I'm glad I found you. It's Declan, right?
Sorry, do I know you?
Um, well, it's been a long time, but um, Gerald, um, I was I I know your mother,
Ah,
and I'm very sorry for your loss. Uh,
uh, thank you.
um, am I intruding? If would it be okay if I joined you?
Actually, if you wouldn't mind, I'm just trying to finish my breakfast and get everything sorted out, but thank you.
Okay, I understand. I understand. Um, just when you have a minute, um, there's probably you may come across some things that don't make a lot of sense. Um,
I lived with the
that
woman for years, I'm well aware. Thank you.
okay, I understand. I understand. And he heads towards the counter. He very matter of factly just asks for a cup of coffee, black coffee to go, and he uh, is seems nervous and makes his way past and is out the door pretty much just as quickly as he came in.
As soon as
Uh,
he's done, just like massive sigh of relief, and I kind of just like sit there staring at nothing for a little bit.
Are you at all trying to that massive sigh of relief? Is that obvious, overt?
Uh, uh, excuse me, sorry. I don't think I'm trying to be obvious, but if people notice it, people notice it.
Okay. All right. So back to Ashwini and Spencer. So Spencer goes to the counter and orders his coffee and steak, and Ashwini is sitting there waiting for his stack of banana pancakes. And it dawns on Ashwini that I hauled this guy to the hospital 3 weeks ago.
Hey, how's the leg?
Huh? What? Uh, and Spencer turns to Ashwini, and then you can see the color drain from his face, even through the makeup. You can tell, and he's like, "Oh, um, hey, hi." Uh, and he pauses for a
Hey,
second,
buddy.
and you can see him trying to rack his brain, trying to remember your name. And then he quickly glances at the. I'm assuming you're wearing like a lanyard or something, and he looks
Yeah.
down at it and he's like, "Oh, Ashwini, right? Hi. How are you doing?" And you can tell he recognizes you, but he's trying to not have that conversation because it's going to make him look like an idiot, and he does not want that right now. He's totally not trying to flirt with whoever's behind the counter as well. So
So what's the name
I'm
of
good.
the server that took Spencer's order?
I don't know. I think something like a Chad. I think it's Chad with like big beefy dude with muscles and just like a total um all brawn no brains kind of person.
Himbo?
Hell
Um,
yeah.
yeah, that's the word. Yes,
If we're
Gotcha.
using
it's
the technical
it's
term.
yeah.
Totally the technical term. Yes. Yeah. Oh, hey, bro. How's it going? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Coffee, coffee and steak. Yeah, that's the best. Oh, how do you want that steak, bro?
However you do it, I'm counting my macros, bro. So I gotta
Oh,
be conscious about
what are you
all
doing?
of that, bro.
You doing paleo? You doing Atkins? What are you doing? I'm doing keto these days, and I gotta tell you, like, oh my, I'm down to like 7.6%. It's the best. What do you bench?
Oh, about like 250, 300 is what I'm,
Wow.
and he has no idea what any of these numbers mean.
Uh, Ashwini is one a is, has been a tall boy since high school, and obviously knows how to lift due to paramedic training, and doesn't comment on that because she's nice, and just kind of like looks away and stifles a giggle, just like
And the funny thing is that Chad is so like he's just vibing. So he's just like 250, bro. Wow, that's awesome, awesome, sick,
Would
bro.
I be close enough to be hearing any of this?
So yeah, I would say that um, basically, so the Gerald, the guy that approached Declan, um, just as he left, so that's when this exchange is happening. So
Okay,
you've been,
I think
yeah.
I would just like turn and watch, just like this is my distraction, this is my new entertainment after fucking Gerald.
Um, so Ashwini, here's what I'd like for you to do is uh, I want you to okay, so real quick primer on the dice. I did provide the quick reference sheet, but so when you want to do something or when I ask you to perform some type of an action, you will be issuing a challenge. And because all of the dice rolling is oppositional, the person who's on the receiving end will be answering the challenge. So basically, you're always going to roll some number of 10-sided dice, and then you're going to look at the highest result first. And we're always going to work with the highest result. Typically, we don't use any of the lesser results unless we're breaking ties. So we have 6 attributes. We have competence, which is basically your social stat, your kind of your social awareness, savoir faire. Um, you have prowess, which is your capacity for rigorous discipline, formal training, a kind of a disciplined mindset. Cunning, which is your instincts, your wits, your perceptiveness, your ability to think on your feet. Um, Power, which is your resolve, your willpower, your determination. Knowledge, which is your recall, your basically your body of knowledge off the top of your head, things that you facts that you know off the top of your head. And then lastly is stature, which all has to do with your physical body, your health, your endurance, your stamina, your strength is all wrapped into stature. So so Ashwini, what you're going to do is you're going to roll. Um, Everybody has 6 automatic skills that get unlocked, regardless of what other skills they choose to unlock. And one of them is discern. So Ashwini, you're gonna roll discern, and Declan, you're gonna roll counter, which is basically the kind of the response or the answering the challenge skill. So you're gonna roll the rating is the number of dice that you roll, and then you're gonna add the modifier to the highest die that you roll.
Okay. Okay.
So Ashwini, what did you get?
I got a 7 and a 0,
So the
or like a
highest that you
10.
rolled, so the highest you rolled
Is
is
it?
the 10, is the
Yeah.
10. So then you add in your case, you're going to add your cunning because discern is a cunning skill. So look at what you're training.
I don't have cunning.
So you just have a
Uh,
0.
yeah.
Okay, so then your total is a 10.
Hmm.
Okay, so
Damn.
Declan, your counter.
My total is a 9.
Okay, so Ashwini, what you get is you're smirking because the exchange between Spencer and between Chad is just so ridiculous. Chad is literally a box of rocks, and Spencer is either trying to come off cooler than he really is, or he's just clueless about benching and weight and how much and all this stuff. And it's just so absurd that you have to laugh. As that as Chad takes the order and takes it to the back and whatever, you catch this kind of upper middle-aged gentleman very nervously walk away from somebody sitting at a table, and then that person at the table, they just let out the and their attention is drawn towards the exchange between Spencer and Chad. And when that happens, Ashwini, you realize that you recognize Gerald. Gerald is a member of the community. He is um, he is part of the the Village of Shrub Oaks Historical Preservation Society, and you recognize him because you went to someone's house, last name Marsh. It was an older woman, and you had to take her to the hospital once. Somebody called 911 on her behalf, and you were the one that got the call, and you got to the hospital. She was unconscious, but and maybe dehydrated, um, but she had fallen, and uh, you were able to get her attention in time where she recovered. Um, but you're like the amount of coincidence is starting to like it was a coincidence that you knew Spencer, that you recognized Spencer. the fact that Gerald just came in, talked to this person at the table, and left, and you recognize who Gerald was, that coincidence on top of the Spencer coincidence is just you're just like, what the heck is going on right
Um, Ashwini has recently, fairly, I would say recently in the last couple of years, gotten very cautious around coincidences, especially surrounding him.
now? Okay.
So he is just going to kind of try and catch the eye of one of the servers to, like, very politely. He was raised with manners, and he doesn't want to be rude to any server ever. So he's just trying to get catch someone's eyes, like, hey, can I get an ETA on the pancakes? I have like it's been a long day. I want to get back, crash for the next like 12 hours or something.
So the server that whose attention you catch, her name is Luann. She looks like she's maybe in her mid to late 40s. Has a big head of like teased out brown hair, very curly brown hair. And she's like, "Oh, sure thing, sugar. Just a second." And she turns around to the kitchen, which is right behind the counter, and she waves somebody down. She's like, "Where are those banana pancakes?" And you
Thank
hear,
thank you, madam.
"Oh, don't mention it, honey. Don't mention it, sweetie." Um, and she she hears one of the cooks ring the bell and put the pancakes down, and she grabs it, turns it around, and puts it right behind. There you go. You need anything? You need any syrup? You need more coffee?
Maybe I think I'm going to cut down on the coffee a little bit. Otherwise,
That's what
I
everybody
won't be
says.
able to sleep. Yeah, but I won't mind. I won't mind the syrup actually.
Okay,
Let's try a little something new.
Sorry.
okay, whatever you say, sugar.
Hmm, thank
And
you.
she brings you a rather nondescript dispenser, pancake syrup dispenser, and just let me know if you need anything else.
Of course. Thank you so much. Yeah, and he kind of pours a little syrup on, like, the just like kind of, he likes it all to be like, to spread equally. So he kind of
Okay.
tries and gets it around the edges as well. Just like to make sure, okay, this is new, but it has to be tasted with everything, because otherwise pancakes is just otherwise it has to
Oh
be
yeah,
equal.
you have to get the equal saturation of butter and syrup, and you have to have a slice of banana on each bite. And oh yeah, I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. And just about the same time, Spencer's steak comes out, and it might still be mooing. It's rare. It is
Oh
bloody
no.
and rare. Um, there you go, bro. Hope you enjoy it. And Chad gives you a nod and a smile and like a big toothy, and then steps away. Um, yeah, it basically
Um,
completely no brain cells behind those eyes.
Spencer looks over at Ashwini and then at Chad, and he tries to cut the steak, but it is so raw that it's difficult to cut it with a butter knife, and
With a
he's
butter knife for sure, yes. You
and
would have been given a steak knife.
oh, okay, fair enough, yeah. Okay, he's gonna take the smallest bite possible and just look off into the distance, trying not, and literally just don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry.
Ashwini feels so bad right now, like genuinely, like this. Oh my god, she's just like, oh my god, he's so pathetic. I want to give. She's like debating, looking at her pancakes that she's been scarfing down.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
should I give him a pancake? Should I?
No,
Should I?
no, 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 not a whole pancake. Like maybe like a bite, but definitely not a whole
Yeah,
pancake.
she's just like, I am way too hungry. I want to be nice. Hey, buddy. Um, do you want half a pancake?
He looks over at you, is like absolutely grateful. Yes, please. I can't eat this. This looks like it just came off the and he can't think of the word. He came off the field or whatever, right? It just look at it. It's do you eat meat? I'm sorry. I don't mean to make you feel weird.
No, no, I eat, but I just don't eat rare. Usually
This is
that's
this is
how
not this is not edible, is it? Like people don't eat this, right?
people do. Actually, it's like some people like it, some people really don't. Like it's a preference thing. Like ha- I mean, if you've never eaten it, I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest. It's if you have to go with a steak, you go with a cooked one rather than, try to, I don't know,
I mean, it was seared. It
swallow
was
a
like
cow.
it was like boom, boom, flip, boom, done. Like it's got a sear on it, but that's about it.
I
Like the
mean,
bare minimum of legal.
Yeah, yep.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, like, not to say a lot about a rare steak, but it is like swallowing a cow and just as it's on the rack. So, you know, next time, just, you know what, next time, my guy, just ask them for like bacon and eggs, especially at this time. Like, it'll like, I'm not your doctor. I don't know what your situation is digestive wise, but it's probably not the best idea to eat a steak at like 4 a.m. Just next time, just go with bacon and eggs, or even chicken. Like, I know, like, you can have like chicken and gravy or something like that. Like, steak is a lunch. It's a lunch thing, to be honest.
Fair enough. You're right. This is not the kind of raw meat I was thinking about when I woke up this morning, but it's fine. I'll have half of that pancake, please. And oh, can I borrow some of your syrup too? And without even waiting for a response, he's going to reach for the syrup and pour like a generous uh, portion into his coffee to make it sweeter than it is. And um,
Sure, but sure, buddy. Of course, of course, of course. It's okay. Like, you can have some. Like, you look to your right there. There must be like a, a little place where
Oh
they
yeah,
have
there's
all
good.
the little
There's a
sugar
every
packets.
well every seat along the counter basically has kind of a pre-done setup. It has a little napkin dispenser. It has plastic ketchup and mustard, red and yellow dispensers, and a plastic cylinder that's filled with just plain white sugar. So you have your choice. You have your options. You can totally pay. I mean, some people put maple syrup in their coffee. Yeah, that's cool.
Honey,
Nobody's
honey.
judging. Nobody's judging at 5 in the morning in a diner
Mm,
right now.
yeah. Next time, if you want, like, coffee with honey is pretty nice. Syrup. I mean, I've never had syrup with coffee, but like, if you want to make it sweeter, like, sugar packets are there. I'm sure that'll help. You can even ask for like milk or something. Like, just a little
So
on top.
Declan, you are whether or not um, I mean you're basically just you're this is entertaining you effectively this
Yes.
exchange between the two, and the this bloody rare steak that just came out and this guy's abject reaction to it and the woman you think you're not sure. I mean, you certainly don't, you don't want to like, make any assumptions or anything like that. But um, the person in the EMT uniform seems to be very hungry. Um, Now, Ashwini, when the two coincidences struck at the same time or within moments of each other, um, did did it register outwardly? And if it did, would Ashwini have tried to like stifle that?
Um, I think Ashwini is a fairly open and expressive person. However, when it comes to like danger, danger, supernatural around Antenna, she shuts down very fast. She has one hell of a poker face specifically just for that. Like everything else is there's no need to hide, but this is something something she does not want to deal with.
Okay, so in
So
that
it
case,
doesn't
I'm going
yeah,
to
it doesn't
so I would imagine then that Ashwini has practiced this. This is that she's in control of her she's in control of her emotions, she's in control of what she wears, the mask that she puts on for the public. So um what I'm going to say is for you to roll um and it's not really there's no real skill. So basically all you're going to do is you're just going to roll one die and you're going to add your prowess. Um And for Declan and for Spencer, I'm going to have you roll discern. So basically, we're going to see if it registers for Spencer and for Declan that something has uh, s- something has caught their attention.
just one die, right?
Just one die, yeah, because you don't you're naturally practiced at it, but you have a natural inclination towards trying to control your emotions. You don't necessarily have a skill in it though, so that's why it's only one die.
3 plus 3 of my prowess, that'll be 6.
Six, okay. So Declan, what did you get on your discern?
I got a 10.
Okay, and a total,
Total, yes.
and you only rolled. That's another thing too is that if you let me know if you roll multiple natural tens, like unmodified tens. So if you roll
I
if the
rolled I rolled two eights, so 8
okay.
plus 2.
Yeah, in the case, so if the top die is a 10, and then any subsequent dice are any dice that are following it after it are also tens, then you earn criticals for every one of those additional tens that you roll. So by default, criticals allow you to you can spend a critical to automatically succeed a challenge, and you may have some other character traits that allow you to do special things with criticals as well. What did Spencer get on his discern?
I got a 6 plus 3, 9.
Nine. Okay, so the nine beat the six, and the 10 beat the six. So try as she might, Ashwini tried to kind of button down that moment of like, what the heck is going on right now? But it definitely registered, and both Declan and Spencer noticed it. So Declan, you noticed it when when Gerald left the diner, and Spencer, you noticed it right when she asked you about your leg. For you, it registered early on, and for Declan, it registered just as Gerald left. Basically, Ashwini's gaze followed Gerald out. She did one of these, and and then went back to talk to Spencer.
I think I'm gonna wait for Luann to pass by me and flag her over to my table.
What you need there? What you need there, dearie?
Just the check, please.
She reaches. She has an apron on. She has pockets in her apron, and she reaches out and she flips through her pad, her check pad, and she tears yours off. And then she goes, "You can pay up at the front, sweetie."
Great, thank you so much. And I will go and do that, and I'll go up front and I'll like stand next to Ashvini and I'll wait for someone to take the check and I'll pay and everything.
Well, there's actually typically with diners, there's a register like at the door, so you won't pay at the counter. You'll pay at the door.
Okay, then
Now
I
that might
will.
mean that you would. Now that might mean that you pass both Spencer and
Okay,
Ashwini on your way to the register.
in that
Um,
case, I think on my way then I'll stop by them.
mhm.
Um, and I'll just say to Ashvini, excuse me.
Oh, yes.
I'm very sorry to bother you. I normally wouldn't do this. Um, I noticed you looking at that man who exited earlier, and I just wanted to ask: did you know him? He tried to speak to me, and I just I was wondering if you had any other information on who he is or what he might have. Sorry, sorry.
He it wasn't much. He's just related to one of to a call I was brought on, like I answered. I mean, but this is like, she kind of like gestures at herself, like, you know,
Right,
I'm, this is it's a small town. I'm bound to at some point come across people.
right, right.
It
Of course,
wasn't much. It was just, oh, I know that from, I know that person from a call. That's pretty much it.
right, right.
How how much does Declan resemble his mother?
Oof, more than he would have likes, more than he would like to.
Um, Ashwini, as soon as Declan walks up and is like, I'm sorry," like, and has this like this moment of just kind of like beside himself, um, uh, comes the third coincidence. And the third coincidence is that not this guy, and he's in his 20s, but he sure looks an awful lot like that woman that you brought to the hospital, that new Gerald.
Motherfucker. Okay.
You say that?
Yeah, he fully just out loud says motherfucker.
Oh,
And
I,
he
I'm
just
sorry.
like the New York accent, just like full New York accent coming out right there, just motherfucker.
I'm horribly confused. I'm just like, I'm sorry. Did I? Am I? Should I go?
No, 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 no. There's nothing. Can I please get my bill? Please, please, can I get my bill
I'm terribly,
as quickly as possible?
I'm terribly sorry. I,
No, no, this is not. I, 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 I don't think this is your fault. This is just, um, I don't know how to explain this, and I don't like that I don't know how to explain this, and usually this doesn't lead to anything good.
no,
One of the calls I was called on, maybe somebody related to you. I'm assuming your mother.
I'm sorry. What?
Yes, I was one of the first responders when your mother was found dehydrated
I
in her house.
I'm like looking around, like seeing if people are like overhearing this.
Nope. No, but
Okay.
everybody is just keeping. I mean, there's like maybe five people in here besides you guys, and everybody is just to themselves.
Um.
Yeah, and I saw that the man you were speaking to was also there, and also at this, and well, you know, things bad things come in threes. So uh there and also uh Spencer here is someone who I have been called out for
Are you allowed
before.
to talk about this?
I'm not a doctor. I'm a paramedic. I There's no doctor patient confidentiality, and doctor patient confidentiality
Okay.
usually has to do with conditions.
All right. Fair enough.
Anyway, leaving the, can I please get the bill? He's just looking out, just like, can I please? Like he's trying
Yes,
so very hard to be
there
polite.
is a there's another server. So we had Luann and we had Chad and Stacy, who's this like, she's just this meek little, like, I mean, if she's 19, she's lucky, and she's like 5'2", and she is like straight blonde hair pulled back into a bun, and she's like, here you go. I hope everything was okay.
Craig, you're describing an alternate universe where I'm cis.
It's, hey, it's he kind of like, even though Ashwini's like clearly like panicking and half like desperate, he still kind of calms down looking at this like sweet little 19-year-old, and is like, uh thank you so much, thank you so much, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. I just it's
No, no,
it's
no.
about
It's
to be a
okay. It's
bad
okay.
day. It's
Um,
about to be a bad day.
I
And
didn't
he
mean
pays the bill, leaves a hefty tip for her and for his server, a little heftier than he usually does, just because he felt bad about intimidating her. Gets up, and like this time, like he was sitting down and he was kind of hunched over the table, but now he's his full 6'5". He's full on just like straightened up, muscled. This muscled, androgynous, long haired person just like gets up, you know, feet like slam on the floor, and walks out like as fast as he can. Just
I
like,
think like
nope, nope,
on your
nope.
way out, you would just hear me going, "I'm sorry to disturb you. Have a good one."
Um, so Spencer just leans back in his chair. He's taken in this whole conversation. He's looking at Ashwini walk out, and he's like, "Holy shit! How do I get that checked?" And then he's gonna turn to to Declan and be like, "Oh, hey, um, hi. Uh, we don't know each other, but I guess Ashwini recognized you and then recognized me. So does that mean something? I don't know.
I've never seen that person before. I've tend to find these things don't mean anything. Have a wonderful day, and I'm gonna go pay and go to exit.
Okay. Um, so so Ashwini, you have left the diner. Where are you heading?
Ashwini is heading to her bike,
Hmm.
uh, like a proper, like it's a proper motorbike,
Oh,
and
okay.
is just putting on like the helmet and everything, and is about to speed the holy hell out of there. Like, is it obviously maintaining traffic laws, conscientious citizen, but also at the same time just about the speed limit.
Yeah, and where? So U.S. Highway 6, it widens out as you get further west, but at the part where the diner is, it's literally just a two-lane highway. So you don't have a lot of room to maneuver, to change lanes, anything like that until you get for another mile or so down the road. Do you have a destination, or are you just like, I'm just gonna drive until I calm down, or what?
Uh, Ashwini doesn't quite want to go back to her cramped little bedroom, so Uh, she's going to drive to her. She's going to drive to where she kind of trained to be her paramedic. She's just going to. She's going to. I think she's going to drive down to the hospital, just as
Okay.
far as she can get.
Well, there's also probably an EMT chapter for all intents and purposes, uh, in either in Mohegan Lake or in uh, but I mean ultimately you can head to the hospital. That it's really it's up to you. Um,
Uh, okay, I think it would be better that she heads to the EMT center rather than like go all the way there. Just like, there's it's near a lake, it's in a lake area, so she can also look out into a stare, get that 1,000-yard stare in across the lake. So she's going to go there, maybe just to chill,
okay.
get as far away from the coincidence.
Um, so that leaves so Declan has left. Where is Declan heading? Is Declan heading back to his mother's house or
Yes,
someplace else?
Declan is going home.
Okay. And what about Spencer?
Spencer is going to get his steak back to go, and he's going to just he's probably gonna head out. No direction for now. Just walk around aimlessly for a bit. It is way too early to be awake, but he kind of needs some fresh air. So yeah.
Okay. Um, would I'm trying to think of would Spencer have Declan? I guess is what I'm asking. Would Declan have um, given Spencer like unwittingly given Spencer an indication of where he was going? Like when he got in his car, did he go left or did he go right? Or
Um,
like,
I think he didn't take his car. I think it's a close enough walk.
okay,
So if Spencer were to exit, he would see the direction I'm walking in.
okay. So does Spencer is he just sort of like he lives from job to job, or does he have a day job in addition to the urban exploring, or what's his deal?
So I think Spencer is just he's just rich. He's got family money, so
Oh, okay.
he does do odd jobs here and there, but um, he's in the
Of
middle
course
of
he
stuff at
does.
the moment, and he's trying to set up his own exploring uh, enterprise, but it's a lot harder than he thought it would be, especially doing it all alone with nobody to help out, since he doesn't have any friends because the reasons outlined above.
Because he's a
um
jerk.
yeah, basically. And
Damn. Okay.
it's not, yeah, so he's not like he purposely tries to be one. He tries very hard to get people to like him, but it usually has the opposite effect, because he sometimes tries way too hard, and then it turns into like kind of sort of like just not ideal situation, because people are like, okay, you're trying too hard or whatever. So it just kind of fizzles out. So it's been difficult to find help, to find basically anything to set up his enterprise. But he's trying, and right now is today is his day off. So because he works for himself, so he can have the days off whenever he wants. So yeah.
Hell
Oh, I
yeah.
love it.
Hell yeah.
Uh, so when Spencer leaves the diner, Spencer does notice that Declan is walking off in one direction. Um, uh, Ashwini is long gone. Um, you didn't see what kind of vehicle they had, but clearly they had a vehicle and they bugged out just as flamboyantly as they left the diner, or she left the diner. Um, so what does Spencer do?
He is kind of sort of curious about this coincidence that Ashwini was talking about, but he's also very wary that he is a big intimidating dude, and he does not want to follow Declan whichever direction that he may have gone in, because that's just weird. They just met, they don't know each other, and he's not going to go down the same way because
They
come on,
haven't
dude.
even
Like
actually met yet. They just encountered each other. They just
I
kind
heard your name. You did not get mine.
of
yeah, that too, yeah. So it's just he kind of is like he's very curious, and his instincts are telling him to go down the same path and try to make friends, but also everything that he has done up to this point in his entire life is telling him not to do that, because uh, yeah, no, that's weird and creepy, and the last thing he wants is to be that with a new person. So
okay.
he's literally going to stand at the diner, and he's going to look left and look right, and then walk one pace towards the direction Declan went, and then walk back and like, no, fuck, shake his head and walk back, and then walk another 2-3 steps, and then shake his head, fuck, you know what, let me just go
All
back.
right.
And
I get the impression that Spencer's not even trying to hide this. So
not at all.
Declan would spot Spencer very obviously, like hemming and hawing and trying to decide what he should do. Should he follow Declan? Should he not? Should he
Yeah.
he goes like he takes a step in one direction and he stops and he turns around, and yeah. So you see that whole display.
Yeah, and I think on any other day I would just ignore that and just go home, but like I'm so thrown off guard by the interaction I just had with Ashvini and Gerald, and it's all very stressful. So I just turn and just, I'm sorry, can I help you?
Oh, uh, no, yes, maybe, I don't know. It's just weird, right? Is it not weird to you that this person that we don't know kind of sort of recognized you and then recognized me and then talking about trees and weird shit, right? It's not just me,
It's a
right?
small town. She's an EMT. People see each other. I
Never seen you before, so
well, I only got back in town a few days ago. So
fine, fair enough. I um, sorry. Do you have plans for today? Do you want to like just hang out? I don't know.
look, man, I respectfully, I don't know you, and I'm very busy.
I'm Steve, and sorry, wait, I'm Spencer. Shit, fuck.
Character bleed.
This is what happens when you name all your characters S names.
Yup.
Yeah. Okay. So, sorry. I'm Spencer, and do you need help with whatever you're doing? Like, I don't have anything to do today, so like I could, whatever you need. I
Thank you very much. I need to be alone right now. Is what I need.
oh okay. You can see his face drop, and in the barely visible uh, rising sun. I'm assuming the sun started to rise at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If it's about 6 o'clock, so yeah, it's starting to.
Yeah, you can see the makeup glinting off of the sunlight. I don't know if that's how makeup works. I've never used it before, but like
If
you
you're
can see that he's
sweating,
he's using. Does it shine in the sunlight? Is that a
if you're
thing? I don't
sweating,
know,
if you're
but
sweating,
Only if
fair
you're
enough. Yeah.
sweating.
or
And
crying.
I mean,
But
and I mean, at this point, I mean, Spencer is definitely sweating.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that there's like slightly starting to streak down his face, the dark circles, and you can like it's obvious that they are not real, even if they looked real like 10 minutes ago. But yeah, okay. I sorry. I'm gonna go.
yeah,
And
have a
then
good one, man.
yeah, yeah, you too, yeah. And as you walk away, you can hear him just mutter under his breath, "That was so weird. Why are you so weird? Why do you do this to yourself? What is wrong with you?" And then he just muttering to himself while he's walking away.
Um, all right, so everybody is kind of off in their own direction. So we will we'll say it's some a few hours have passed. It's maybe late morning, just about noon. Um, Declan, you went home and you just started through the unhappy task of going through things, deciding which of your mother's things you're going to donate, and
Hmm.
is there anything that's valuable, and is there anything that you want to keep, um,
Yeah.
and uh, she had a footlocker, and inside the footlocker you find a couple of things. First of all is it looks like it would have been a photo album, but she's used it to collect all these different types of not just photos, but newspaper clippings. Um, uh, it looks like she's maybe made photocopies like microfiche, um, and pasted them into this album. Um, you find that, and you find a what looks like a library book for all intents and purposes. It's like that red leather binding, like you might buy a whole entire volume of like John J. Audubon, the exhaustive guide to every bird under the sun. This is like the C volume, so it's that red leather, maybe with like gold foil for the title. So it's like the migratory birds of the Yukon Peninsula or something like that. Um, and when you start to flip through it, you notice that it is heavily annotated, and not just like you recognize your mom's handwriting, so you
Uh-huh.
know that you start to see notes that she would have put into it, but then you see notes that are left by other people and other handwritings, And what starts to become obvious is that it seems like there was correspondence. Like maybe she put this book in the mail, sent it somewhere, and then somebody sent it back to her and responded, and it was all kept in the same book. Um, what's starting to become, it looked like she was researching. It looked like she was researching. She must have gone down the rabbit hole on um, she got stuck on the Hope Diamond, and she was tracking throughout history places where the Hope Diamond made appearances. And on more than one occasion, the owner of the Hope Diamond displayed the displayed it at a number of uh, international expositions, or what would eventually effectively be called World's Fairs. So there is mention that it was on display at the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia in 1876. There was mention that it was on display at the International Exposition in 1924 in New York City. Um, and there comes a point in time where there's a news story that it disappeared. And it seems like she's following the trail. Like she goes on and she's got clippings from the 1964 World's Fair in New York City, the 1982 World's Fair in Knoxville, Tennessee. So like she seems to have been following the trail, trying to pick it up, but she didn't get anywhere. It's like the trail went cold. This thing disappeared, and nobody knows what happened to it.
Okay.
Um, Go ahead.
Uh, is this something I ever would have heard her talk about?
No.
Okay.
Um, the the library book, the leather bound book, seems to it seems to be strange and be of a topic that she would not have spoken to you about before. Um, she and the people that she's corresponding with seem to be concerned of appearances of duplicates, people who say that they saw their doppelganger, like they were at a bus stop and they were sitting at a bus stop and somebody walked in and they went to the counter and it's like, well, you were just here 2 minutes ago. No, I wasn't. I was sitting there at the thing, you know, and and it seems like people were trying to line up stories like that, like she was finding people that had similar stories and corresponding with them and keeping all the correspondence within this book. Um,
Are there any names on any of it?
there are first names, but that's all.
Is Gerald mentioned anywhere in any of these?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Um, So, um, so Ashwini, after you've ridden on your motorcycle for a little while, and you're starting to calm down, you headed to the EMT shack, and you just kind of hung out there. Um, it's been a quiet day. There haven't been many calls, and it seems like um, your coworkers, your comrades are out there, and you have a you have some downtime, which is pretty unusual. Um, so, is there anything in particular you'd like to do?
So I just wanted to ask, where this EMT shack is, how far away is the lake?
So, okay, let me pull up my stuff. Um, so the diner is at the northernmost tip of the lake. The EMT shack is close to the Jefferson Valley Mall, which is the, like I said, that's the mall that time forgot. It's like it seems like it was left behind. Like the nobody bothered to update. Maybe the stores on the inside are modern, but nobody updated the outside of it, and it looks like it's straight out of the 1980s. Um, there is a fire station, and your EMT shack is right there at the Lake Mohegan Fire Station, and so I would say it's maybe about 5 miles uh, up Route 6 east of where the diner was. Um, so there, you've actually at that point you would have gotten away from the lake. So if you wanted to take some time to to chill out and kind of dissociate and you probably would have come back to the lake at some point.
Yeah, I think Ashwini kind of just wants to dissociate, and best way to do that is read like she always keeps a stack of comic books and manga
Mhm,
in the shacks that she tends to frequent, especially on days like this when like weird shit happens.
mhm.
So she just essentially picks up one of the comics, Poison Ivy, and just kind of drags a chair, just kind of, just sits on the mud, kind of brushes off under a tree, somewhere under a tree, and just kind of sits with the lake in view, and just kind of sits and reads, kind not fully registering, as if she's not fully registering the comic. She's read this a couple of times. She already knows what happens. She loves, this is one of her favorite new favorites.
It's
But
a
like
coping.
she's
It's
reading.
a way that she's coping because she's familiar with it, and so she's just sort of she's soothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So on the way, on her kind of brief bike ride, a couple of things catch her attention, and by her attention, I mean like her her twitchy attention, her danger sense attention. Um, just literally like a quarter of a mile up from the diner, there is a building that is uh, the the Historical Preservation Society is picketing because they're trying to make sure that it doesn't get turned down. There's a real estate development company that's trying to come in and build an apartment community that faces the lake, and they are looking to um, they're trying to work with the town of Mohegan Lake to basically get this building, this historical building, torn down so that it can make way for these new modern apartments. And that sort of pings for you. It's not quite as strong as coincidence on top of coincidence on top of coincidence, but it's just sort of like it's just a kind of it scratches an itch, or it starts to itch, I guess you could say. Um, the other thing is there is a library, the John C. Hart Memorial Library, kind of gives you a little bit of an itch. And lastly, a brewery, which is the Argonne Rose Brewing Company and Cassandra's Table. Also scratches your or itches at you a little bit um, as you're cruising, and you finally get to what you right to the fire station where your EMT shack is, and you get a chance to settle down and open up your comic book and soothe and settle down. And Spencer, so you had your very uncomfortable awkward moment with Declan, and Declan walked in the opposite direction away. And uh, where does Declan? So Declan doesn't want to go. You said Declan. Oh, it's his right. It's his day off. He is taking a break from the 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 stressful world of being a wealthy socialite who's building a an entrepreneurial endeavor. What is the endeavor? What is the business that Spencer is trying to start?
So basically, what he does, which is exploring weird places to find weird things, he
Right.
wants to do
Okay.
that, but on a larger, more legalized scale. Is what he's trying to do? Where
Okay.
it's one, he wants, if he represents like a proper business, he will be able to get permissions to get into places a lot better, and will not be called a thief by
Okay.
random people, and he
Hmm.
won't get into trouble as much either. So
Okay.
yeah.
So as he's trying to establish himself as an entrepreneur that is an urban explorer.
Yep.
Okay. Um, Ashwini, back to you for a second. In your stack of comics, you have a graphic novel which is a reprinting of a collection of pulps. Basically, they were popular in the 1920s, and they were these kind of tales of adventure. Um, and one in particular was of a trio of kind of heroes for hire that called themselves the Universal Defenders. One of them was uh, he used to be a private detective in New York City in Hell's Kitchen. One is a he's a Canadian, kind of very kind of like a lumberjack type guy, but he was in the stories, in the pulp stories that were told based on their exploits. He had a kind of a heightened senses, so um, he sense of smell, sense of hearing, all those things were exceptional about him. And then lastly, there was this jet setting, business mogul named Andrew Waters. And I mean, he was very wealthy. He had a private jet. He basically funded what he called the Universal Defenders. And these pulp stories were written about, it's kind of like they took the historical events of their adventures and kind of heightened or embellished them. And that's what these, so that's what one of the things that's in your stack of comic books. Um, And incidentally, Declan, in the clippings about the Hope Diamond, um, this trio was mentioned at the International Exposition of 1924. They were hired by the owner of the Hope Diamond at the time to basically act as private security to make sure that it did not get stolen or nobody tried to damage it or anything like that.
Mhm.
Um,
I have a quick question.
sure.
Going through all the stuff that my mother was cataloging about this, do I get the sense that she's been looking into this since I lived here, like since I was a kid, or is this a more recent, like in the years while I've been gone, she's
It's
started
been in the
this?
years that you've been gone.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, s-
Ashwini is kind of she's looking at this book, and like she doesn't open that specific comic book yet. She
okay.
just looks at the cover. She knows what it is because on one night where she got way too curious, she's read the first story of it, and then got too weirded out, and then kind of shut it and never really touched it.
So the
But
first story, well, I'll tell you what the first story is. So the first story, um, this uh, another socialite, kind of he was like a war hero from World War I. Very dubious. A lot of people wondered how he made his money, but he lived on Long Island in basically what we would call the Hamptons. At the time, they called them the Eggs, the East Egg and the West Egg of Long Island. And he hired the Universal Defenders. He a woman. It wasn't his wife, maybe a girlfriend. She had been kidnapped um, by a cult of Baron Samedi worshippers in Haiti and taken to Haiti. And so this socialite hired the Universal Defenders to go and to rescue her. and that was basically issue number one of the Universal Defenders pulp stories.
Okay, she's just kind of looking at this book and is like, hmm, I'm not reading further. She's just talking, looking at. I'm not reading further. You know that I am not reading further. Try. You can try as much as you like. You can dress it up in whatever way you think I'd like. I'm not reading further. Okay?
Issue number
I
two,
got out.
you going to Egypt. Do you want? Are you sure you don't want to read further?
Hmm. Don't don't do this, Ashwini. Remember what happened last? Remember the promises been. Remember, self control. Self control means no gilded room. Self control, no gilded room, no, and no one has to rescue you again. And who knows what face you'll have next time? Huh? No, no, this is my face. This is my face. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And
Issue number three, they went to some ruins in Ireland. Uh, if you wanted to skip ahead to issue number three,
just the first page. It's just the first page. I just want to
you
know.
see the spirit of an Irish like warrior, like a Celtic warrior, kilt, very uh, um, Braveheart, very obviously that's Scottish, but whatever. I mean, very similar appearance, but it's a ghost, and it's a ghost, and it's a ghost that's wearing this big belt with this big like like coffee saucer sized golden medallion on it, and all it says is the belt of Brian Baru. And
Okay.
it was supposedly the private detective who came out of Hell's Kitchen. His name was Xavier Arcadia, and was he was in the French Foreign Legion, but he was Irish. So he served in the First World War, or at that time, I guess they would have been calling it. At the time that the stories were written, they were calling it the Great War. So he served in the Great War in the French Foreign Legion before he came back to the States and before he became a private detective in Hell's Kitchen. Um, that's part of the reason why they went on this particular adventure, because because of the connection to his heritage.
Okay. Hey, go back into the book. Ashwini just is just like just looking at the ghost like, please just go back into the book. I am really I I don't mean, I do not mean this in an intimidating way. I just mean this in a pleading way. I'm the
Are
last
you
person you
sure?
should mess with.
All of a sudden, Ashwini hears a voice. It's quiet, and are you sure?
Look, I made a n- no, no. This is, I say no. I am off limits. I have made myself off limits. Okay? We're not doing this again. We're never going to do this again.
I could really use your help.
How could I help you? You're not real.
That's what you keep telling yourself. There are secrets that are getting out that need to be kept.
That's not a part of my oath. That ain't a part of my oath. I help people. I don't help secrets. I don't help ghosts. Unfortunately, you are beyond my help.
If the secrets get out, they're going to hurt people.
Look, man, why me? You you and I both look. If you came to me, that means did she send you? Did she send you?
I would not go anywhere. She no.
Okay.
I took you in. I protected you from her. Why do you think that I would follow anything she had to say?
I mean, I have to. Fine. I'm taking you at your word here, sir. Look, I don't remember anything. All I remember is that room. You know what? Not the point. You wanted help. It is my duty. I help people. I help beings in distress. Okay? It's my it's my job. It's my oath. How can I help whatever the situation is?
The the young man, the young men, people, young people you met this morning. Uh, they're going to be important, and you need to find them.
The the weirdo in the not weirdo, that's impolite. The eccentric explorer, the eccentric home breaking and entering guy, and
Yes,
the the one who didn't know what a rare steak was.
yes, them, him,
Okay.
and Declan Marsh.
Is that why I was the one see his ma to see his ma? Is that why I had to work on his ma, because this was meant to happen or whatever?
I mean, things aligned in a certain way, and you have just happened to be involved in all of them. But uh, it's indicative of something more.
I should have just gone on that long distance program to Peru. I don't know why I'm here.
She would have found you there.
Why am there have to be better storytellers than me. Anyway, fine. Okay, but I don't know how to find them. I'm not like, I mean, I know.
You went to Eileen Marsh's house. You took her to the hospital. You know where her house is.
Okay, but like, yeah. Oh, well, what am I going to say turning up there? Hey, a really old ghost from Ireland told me to, like, talk to you because of your mom or because of you. Like, I don't like. I turn
Yeah,
up with my go with my thing going woo woo woo. Someone's gonna think they're going to think they're injured or something, or someone else is injured, or someone's in danger. I don't know.
you have other ways of transport, I think, don't you?
That would be worse. Me
You'll
just turning up there.
you need to find a way.
What about the shrimpy guy?
Uh, he's hunting for treasure. There's a he's got a he's got a few places on his list, and one of them is here.
Can't I just wait for him to, like, inevitably fall through like some termite infested basement floor again? I mean, I
Follow
don't.
follow the follow the broken up paths down the west side of the lake, and you might find the broken up boards that you're talking about.
I don't want him to be injured. I don't.
Well, then I hope you get there in time.
Oh, god damn. I look. I am grateful for the things you're doing. That's the only reason I'm doing this. You know, I don't want anything to do with this. After this, whatever this situation is, you leave me alone for at least 10 years. Deal?
Deal.
Thank you. And he's going to scurry off, trying to essentially find Spencer.
I imagine Spencer would get bored very easily. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he always needs to be doing something to stay awake. Really.
So one of the in the course of his research on some of the abandoned places in this part of the country, um, right here on the lake, in the early 20th century, there was a resort called the Rock Hill Lodge, and it was frequented. This whole region, basically, in the early 20th century, in the early 1900s, was kind of a haven for the wealthy, and there were all these resorts and mansions that were built as summer homes for people to get away. And ever since then, it kind of fell out of style, fell out of favor, and so a lot of these buildings um, were just abandoned, were just left behind. Um, it wasn't clear who owned them. Nobody purchased them after, and just sort of uh, time forgot them. And so Rock Hill Lodge is on the western shore of Lake Mohegan, and uh, you feel like if it was frequented by wealthy people, then somebody had to have left something behind that's worth you exploring it.
That makes sense. I would like to retcon something really quick. I
Sure.
don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the reason Spencer is rich is not like initially I was thinking maybe he inherited his wealth, but I'm thinking instead of that, he went into one of these abandoned places. He got injured, and I think maybe the same and won a lawsuit that gave him a shit ton of money. That's the,
That works. Yeah, it's entirely up to you. Um, so uh,
yeah.
yeah,
So
because
he's trying
I
to.
almost feel like if his wealth was inherited, he'd have much less of a inclination to want to be an entrepreneur. I feel so. I mean, I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, fits. Also, it kind of also explains why he's so awkward. Because if he was born rich, he probably would have been taught how to, uh, talk to people and shit. Because that's
So
what I'm
he so
assuming
he's
rich
he's
people
a
have.
jerk because he's awkward,
He's not a jerk on
not
purpose. Yeah,
because he's rich and stuck up.
yeah, yeah.
So he's Greg from Succession rather than Kendall Roy from Succession. Got it.
I'll
Only
take
seen
your word
three
for it.
episodes of Succession, but yes, I think so. So it's like he's a jerk because of the lack of people skills, and not because he's purposely trying to um, be rude or mean to other people or being stuck up. He's yeah. But anyway, I think the places that you mentioned would be a good would be on his list to go check out. So he can use his findings to further establish himself and his business.
So does he have like a YouTube channel where he records himself? Does he like mount a GoPro on something and use that as he's going around? Does he broadcast his exploits, or how is it that he is making money off of this? Or is it that he's hoping to find um, treasure, basically, that he's going to turn around and try and sell?
Well, I think it's the turnaround and trying to sell part of it. He's not really very tech savvy. He doesn't know how to set up well, he would like to eventually, but he feels like trying to set up a YouTube channel or a Twitch, whatever, stream his adventures is a little too far out of his depths for now. But he's looking for someone who can help him with that eventually if he does decide to do it. So far, he's made about $40 million and 4 cents and 40 no $40 million and $40 so far he's made from his
Okay.
adventures, 40 million of which is from the settlement. So
Hey, you got to start somewhere. Okay. So Ashvini, bless you. Um, the voice fades and you're left by yourself. It sounds like maybe a fire truck has come back into the fire station. So there's a little bit of life coming back to the EMT shack. But for the most part, you're still by yourself. When the voice recedes, the comic book is laying open on um, on issue number 2, and it's a scene where Arcadia, who is this he's about as tall as you, but he's very like manly, like masculine, long red hair, red mustache and goatee, black leather motorcycle jacket, pretty much all black, big shit kicking boots. Um, he is inside of this. It looks like he could be inside of a pyramid, and all surrounded by all these mummies. Just it looks like a sea of them, and he's standing in the middle. He's holding up some type of a crystal or maybe a large like gemstone. He has some type of device on his wrist. So he's holding the stone up into the air, and he's channeling energy from the wrist thing into the stone, and it courses out in all directions, and it it vaporizes all of these mummies. That's the scene. So when the voice recedes, that's where the book landed open.
I don't have a wristwatch, crystal wristwatch, but sure. Okay.
So
I'm absolutely.
Xavier Arcadia was known for this wristwatch that he used. He didn't carry a gun. He had this wristwatch that would basically um, he could use it to fire bolts of electricity that would like disable uh, people that he like opponents of his basically instead of hurting them.
Okay. Okay, number one, I am. There is a huge difference between me and this PI. Number one, I am not a man, but you know what? Let's not go there because otherwise we will. This will be a whole rabbit hole to go on to go down. Okay. He's just going to pick up his EMT bag and he's going to take the comic with him.
Mhm.
He's going to take the comic with him, put it very carefully into his bag, and is going to
It's a reprint,
essentially.
so it's not like you have to worry about it getting damaged. It's
Okay.
not vintage or anything like that. Like there was a craze in the like in the 90s where there was this resurgence of uh interesting characters. It's time for us to take a break. So I guess we'll call it take 5 and do what you need to do. And I guess from here, let's see. Oh, okay. So you can disable and you can mute. And it is 9. I have 9:45. And we're back. So Declan
Yes.
is in the process of just pouring through. So what is Declan's reaction to these things that he's found amongst her effects?
It's honestly just an eye roll. Like, he's just so done with all the things she's been obsessed with. And he has these like big cardboard boxes that he's like organizing everything into. So he has like donate, which is all like clothes and like old books and stuff. And then he has sell, which is like valuable jewelry and things of that nature. The keep box is like nearly almost empty. All that's in there is just like flatware and plates and things that a recent college graduate would be stoked to not have to pay for. Um, so like I have these books that like are library books that she's completely defaced. And it's like, okay, I can't do anything with these. So I guess I start another pile for like trash. Um, any incense that was in the house, I threw all of that out the day I got here.
Mhm.
Um, but like other random like knickknacks and crystals, like that's all in the cell box. Um, so yeah, I'm just this like stuff about doppelgangers and like world's fairs. Like it's just like it's like all right, mom, sure. He's just so done with it.
So there are two other um, points of note amongst your mother's effects that might give Declan pause.
Hmm.
Um, one of them is a telescope, um, and it is there's a panel on it, or like a plate, I guess you could say, that's engraved uh, to Eileen from Henry. Um, and the other thing is this.
Oh, oh, oh. Hey, yo,
Um,
you just have that?
yes, is the short answer.
Oh my god.
Holy
Um,
Okay.
shit.
so uh, this is what you find. You find it
Okay.
in in a closet on top of a shelf. It is a series of kind of infinite faces, with the exception of the one that's missing. And on the forehead of each face is inscribed a symbol. So I'll zoom in there. Looks
Oh,
like an
whoa.
hourglass, um, a flame. See what else we got. A star, some waves.
Mhm.
It's very faint. A mountain and a skull is what you're able to make out.
That's
Um,
so cool. That definitely jump scares me when I open the closet.
yeah.
I'm just like, what the? Okay. Um, yeah. So that I think is like tentatively going in the cell box. I just
Okay.
like, I like barely want to touch it. I'm just like, what the fuck? And I've never seen this before, I'm assuming.
Nope.
Okay. I'm just like, that's fucking weird, but whatever. And then the telescope, I've never seen the telescope before either.
Um, you may have seen it,
Uh-huh.
but you didn't. You never. You definitely didn't know that it was personalized. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So
And is it,
you may have seen it. She may have occasionally trotted it out when she felt
yeah.
like
And is it
stargazing.
like a,
Um, let's say
oh, it's like a more
maybe
modern thing?
yeah, it's still yeah,
Oh, okay.
maybe
Um,
about well, modern in the sense of within the last 50 years.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, I'm very torn up about what to do with that because as much as Declan kind of resents his mother, this is, and as much as like I could probably get some good money off of that if I'm being
oh yeah.
real, but that's a tough one, and I think I just don't really know what to do with it, so I think I just kind of put it not in any of the boxes. I just kind of like leave it next to them for now, and just like there's a lot of like feelings there. Um, I wasn't expecting to find anything connected to my dad at all.
Nope.
Yeah. And I guess this is another question. When I left, I definitely took all my stuff with me, but is there anything I find in her stuff that is like about or of or indicative of me in some way?
Oh, sure. I'm sure that there's probably photo albums.
Sure.
You know, maybe you played t-ball, or maybe you you know, you were swimming, or I mean, or you know, birthday parties, Christmases,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Like, I mean, typical stuff that that a mother would, you know, that families would document and keep track of.
Yeah, I think he's kind of surprised finding any of that. Like I really wouldn't have expected her to like some of these things, sure, but like I
Because
don't
she was
know.
so consumed by her interests.
Yes. Yeah. Um I didn't get the sense growing up that she cared that much, to put it frankly. Um so yeah, so that's a little like also very complicated feelings because it's like okay, you had this stuff, but I didn't like receive any of the affection associated with it. Um
It's like she compartmentalized it. It's like
yeah,
she wrapped up that part of you two, and it's like, okay, I'm preserving this.
and
Um,
keeping it in this drawer where no one's
mhm.
going to see it. Yeah, so that actually, yeah, that actually pisses him off quite a bit.
The doorbell rings.
Okay, just all right, and I will go and answer the door.
It's Gerald again.
Hello.
I'm really sorry. I know that you said that you wanted to be left alone, that you had work to do and you were busy, but um, uh, I need to talk to you.
Fine. Yeah. What's up?
Um, I know it's been a long time since you've been here, since you've come home. I know that you've been off with your studies, and um, we get updates every now and then. Um,
From
your
who?
mother's from your
Certainly not
mother.
from me.
She knows.
I'm sorry. I haven't. I didn't speak to her in 4 years.
She knows.
Okay.
Um, so she wanted you. She was hoping
Mhm.
that she'd have the opportunity before she passed to get you to understand that it was more than just crystals and incense um and as soon as he's like sort of drifts off for a second. So you were like meeting him in like the family room, I guess, basically.
Oh, I don't let
um
him in. I'm standing in the
oh,
doorway.
you're standing in the doorway, okay.
Uh huh.
Where did you leave the telescope?
Um, I think I left it where I found it, or if it was like in a desk drawer, then I would have put it on top of the
Oh
desk and
no,
like.
it's too
Oh
big.
right, you said it's big. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
imagining a little like spyglass.
So maybe her bedroom, maybe so up like on the second
Yeah,
floor.
just like leaving
Okay.
it wherever I found it.
Okay. um how much do you know about your father?
I, I know he died before I was born. What are you getting at?
Are you sure you won't let me in? I mean, this is really kind of serious talk.
Look, I'm sorry, but I this is all a lot for me, and all I know about you is that you used to come over and do God knows fucking what with my mother and all of her weird friends in the attic for hours, keeping me up at night. So, quite frankly, I want nothing to do with you, and I'm being. I'm no, to answer your question, no.
Okay. Um, he reaches into his he's not wearing the long coat and the top coat anymore, so he's basically just buttoned down, very plain pale blue button down shirt, kind of a tweed sport coat. Um, he reaches into his sport coat and he pulls out an envelope, and he's like,
I'll take it.
and he's like, I hope that you're able to find peace. And he
What were
turns
you
around.
doing in the attic? What were all of those meetings?
I was about to try and explain that to you before you told me that you weren't interested.
Oh, you should have led with that, man.
Okay, so here it is. Perhaps you want to open the envelope.
Sure, and I'll open it.
Dr. Henry Marsh, death ruled accidental.
Is that all it says?
It's the headline of a news
Oh,
clipping.
okay.
So the Shrub Oak Gazette from 1980 something, maybe 80, 88, 89, somewhere around there. Yes, Dr. Henry Marsh, death ruled accidental.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know what your mother told you about your father,
Not
but
much.
um, what she told you was the truth, at least as much as she knew about it. What we were doing in the attic was trying to find him.
I like hold up the newspaper clipping. He was dead.
That's what everybody thought.
I really don't appreciate this.
You asked.
He was dead. I did not speak to my mother while I was at college, so there is no way she knew about any updates. The only way you would have been able to find him is by going to the fucking cemetery.
And that's not where he is.
Are you implying my father is not dead?
I am stating that that was our assertion.
Assertion?
That was our belief, our hypothesis. There was an accident and he disappeared. And we
And
believed
he
that the
died.
accident.
And he is in the ground, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Okay.
I understand you lost a friend. You you two were clearly close. And I'm glad she had that. But I would politely ask you to not come back here.
Uh, I will do as you ask.
Thank you.
And he walks away. And he continues on down the road and just keeps walking.
And I take that I take the I'll like read over the news clipping. I kind of can't help myself. Like I'm assuming it's just like I heard the story of how my father died in the car accident and everything, so I'm assuming there's no new information in there.
There's no mention of a car accident. There's a mention of an accident, but not a car accident.
It just says accident. There's no more detail than that.
It says accident. It says, I mean, it's an article, so I mean, it gives you the full breakdown. Basically, there was some sort of there was an explosion at at the planetarium where he was doing some research, and no one ever saw him again.
And that does not track with the story I heard growing up, which was car accident.
Your mother never said explicitly car accident. She said accident. Whether or not your 8-year-old mind filled in blanks or whatever, um, maybe the way that she couched the story, he was driving late at night to the planetarium. Maybe you kind of put two and two, you drew a conclusion and said, okay, it must have been a car accident.
Yeah.
But she never explicitly said car accident. She said accident.
And I think as this is dawning on me, I just like crumple it up and toss it.
Okay. Um, Ashvini, at that point, where were you with you?
Um,
So you grabbed your EMT bag, you put the comic book into the bag, and
I'm heading where the ghost said that Spencer is. Just, just to check up on him. Like, maybe warn him off in some way to, like, go home, get some sleep, uh, not do this. Uh, so, like, just,
go
just,
home,
you know,
drink a 7 Up. Maybe don't go exploring.
eat a moon pie.
Eat a moon pie. Yes, thank you. Okay, so basically along the western edge of the lake, there is just like the entity that spoke to you said, there is a broken, um, almost like a paved walkway. So basically, these wealthy socialites would, they would go out and they would take their constitutional, and the women would be in their big dresses and they have their parasols, and they would stroll lazily along the walkway, gazing out onto the lake. Um, but that was over 100 years ago, and so all the paving stones and wherever are all, pushed up from weeds and broken and cracked. Um, but uh, the entity that spoke to you was very clearly very accurate, because um, what you reach, once you understand that you're about, maybe it takes you 30 minutes or so of a walk to get to about halfway down the length of the lake. And what you see is, it's strange, and it immediately sets off your strange meter. Um, Physically, there are no buildings here. However, if you can imagine like 3D glasses, the blue on one side and the red on the other, you have to wear the glasses in order for the two to overlay with each other. As soon as you see this park, it's almost like you're seeing the two images on top of each other, where in one instance, there's nothing. Like, these buildings were bulldozed, they were just raised. And in the other instance, there is the outline of a 5-story palatial uh, hotel. And all these side buildings and little individual cottages and bungalows and things like that. Um, it's almost like these two things are on top of each other and something is out of sync.
Okay. I am too cute to be John Constantine, but okay. Let's let's just go.
All right, while you're
She's
while you're thinking about that, Spencer, so um, you're there. You're so this is so basically what you're seeing almost the same thing. You're approaching from a slightly different angle. You're further away, closer to the highway. This particular stretch of US 6 is referred to as Main Street, and you're approaching the complex of Rock Hill Lodge, and to you, everything. I mean, it looks dilapidated. It looks like the buildings are crumbling, but they look present. They look like they're there, um, and it's ripe for the picking.
Um, yeah, I'm just gonna pull out my phone and just talk into it like like a recording. Okay, I'm
Okay.
at the place. Um, this looks like there's a lot of cool stuff here. So we're gonna go in, and if I die, I die. It's fine. It's whatever. What's the worst that could happen, right?
What's the worst that could happen? So Ashwini, um, you see Spencer, and Spencer is approaching the main building, and he goes up. I mean, he pulls a door, and it's freaking you out because there's something
uh
that's both here and not here at the same time.
yeah. Ashwini is like of three minds. Like every single self-preservation instinct is telling her, "Fuck the ghost. Fuck this. I want to get out of here." But also at the same time, that idiot is that not idiot. That curious individual is going through the to the spooky place, and she can't leave him to go to the spooky place. So I guess she's Johnny Constantine today. So she's just going to kind of like yell out, "Hey, Spencer, is that you?" Uh,
Spencer, you hear a familiar voice.
Okay, so immediately Spencer jumps out of his skin. He wasn't expecting anyone else to be here, and for a second he's like, "Uh, please don't hurt me, Mr. Ghost. I'm not here to cause any trouble. I'm just here to look for cool things." And he's not looking in the direction where the voice is coming from, and he's just trying to shrink himself down to as small as he can in his big frame. And I'm not here to hurt anyone. I'll leave if you want me to.
uh, Ashwini is like jogging, taking long strides to get to Spencer. Hey,
Oh, he can
it's
hear the
me.
footsteps coming closer. Oh no! Oh shit! Don't hurt me!
It's Spencer. It's me,
Oh,
EMT, the EMT. Remember?
oh yes. Hi. Are you
Hey,
following me? And
no.
then immediately
Oh,
you see his expression shift. He's going to stand up straight and he's like, if you wanted to go out, all you have to do is ask. You don't have to follow me everywhere, you know?
I'm a
And
lesbian,
then,
but thank. Okay. Um, I was nearby. My EMT shack is nearby, and I heard some noises. My I heard some noises, so I just thought I'd investigate. Are you here for your thing, the thing that I saw you doing when you hurt your leg. Are you doing that again?
Uh, maybe. Are you gonna be mad?
I mean, my guy, I ain't your dad to be mad, but like, you should be careful. Like, this place, I don't think it's like the place that I found you at. It's known to give off bad vibes.
It's not really there.
Uh, this area generally, like, it gives bad vibes. Like, I mean, it's old and there's barely anything. I mean, like, no one's ever like tried to take care. There's nothing really here. So like, you know, you wanna just try. How about you come to the EMT shack with me? Like, I've got you. I mean, have you slept? I don't think you slept. You need like some downtime. I got some like good tea and some comic books, and we can just chill. We can talk. You can tell me about your work, like, and stuff, and we can just chat for a bit.
Uh, you're giving me very mixed
Okay,
signals
maybe
here,
you know what?
but
I think this might be a good opportunity for um. So Ashvini, I want you to roll a die and add your competence, because basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to convince Spencer that he should just like stop this whole thing and just come with you and have a cup of tea and read some comic books and chill out. Spencer, you're like, what? I don't understand. She is being really strange about this. Like, you're gonna roll counter, which is basically it's one of your automatic skills. It's 2 dice, and you're gonna add your competence to the highest.
I rolled two sevens plus three, so that's a 10.
Okay.
It's okay. So I got a 3 and a 5.
It's an
So
eight.
that would be
8.
uh 8.
Yes.
No. Sorry. On two, I rolled 2 dice. Wait,
No,
I was supposed to roll one.
you only roll one, because you don't
Okay, so
have a
I'll just.
special you don't have a skill to like try and convince somebody or persuade
Okay.
somebody. So you're just doing it off a natural talent
o-
or
Okay, so
natural
I'll
ability.
just.
One die.
So
Yeah,
I'll
just
just
go
take
ahead and
the
re-roll it.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just re-roll it. Okay. Whoops. I got a 1 plus 1. That would be a 2.
Okay.
No.
So, Spencer, two things are readily apparent. Um, Ashvini is consciously trying to convince you to just leave this all behind, and she knows something, and there's a reason why. She is like something's up.
Okay, so Spencer is not very smart when it comes to learning things, but he's very smart when it comes to looking at people and to figuring out what their um, what they want or what they need. So he's gonna step up to Ashwini, look him in the eyes, and be like, I will leave with you. I will go to your EMT shack or whatever. If you tell me what's really going on. And he's gonna maintain eye contact.
Uh, sure. If you, I mean, you don't really like seem. I mean, I could tell you, but you don't really like. Do you like comic books at all? I don't think you really seem like the kind of guy. Like, this is just Ashwini, just is kind of
All
like
Spencer is
tells you
hearing is
what to talk about.
bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Deflect, deflect, deflect.
Um,
I mean,
I'm just gonna continue maintaining eye contact. I've read a few comic books, but why do you want me to leave? What is going on? What do you know?
Ah,
Keep pushing.
fine.
He's going to keep asking her till she responds.
Hmm. Ah, I can see something behind you. You can't see it, it doesn't exist, but I can see it. And if you just come with me to the shack, I'll explain to you what I know. I will explain to you this situation. Okay? This is it's weird, okay? This I I know when stuff is weird and this place is weird. Okay, let's just put it like that.
So Spencer is torn between, is this a version of it's right behind me, isn't it? Joke, or is he is Ashwini actually serious about this? And he is not 100% sure. He can't tell, and so he takes a step back.
All
Okay,
right, so
okay,
here's what's going to happen. So Spencer, here's what I would like for you to do. Hang on just 1 second.
Oh, he's getting up again, folks.
I just need to get some dice.
Oh. Pull out another prop.
No, just the one tonight.
Okay.
All right, Spencer, what I need you to do as you are contemplating what Ashvini has just said to you, namely that this that what you think you see is not really there. I want you to roll steel, which is one of your automatic skills, and it's 2 dice, and you're going to add your power.
okay. That's a 1 and an 8 plus 2. That's
Okay.
10. So I take the 8, 10.
Yep. So it's a total of 10. So when you do the double take, something clicks, and all of a sudden you get that similar experience the way that I described to Ashvini, that this place is both here and not here at the same time. But if you walk through those doors, there's literally nothing here. Like, you could, Ashvini, you think that it's entirely possible that if he hadn't seen it for what it really was, he could have climbed a flight of stairs, turned a corner, and fell 5 stories to his death. Like, he could have broken his neck. Like, the whatever is going on here, it would have been so real for him that it would have it would have defied he would have thought it was so real that he would have basically wound up um, suffering a mishap that could have been fatal. And now, Spencer, you see this, and you see this for what this really is. So this place is, for all intents and purposes, a paradox. It is both here and not here at the same time.
Okay, so while talking, Spencer feels the hair on the back of his neck start to stand out, and he feels a shiver run down his spine. He's gonna turn around slowly because he's still not sure, and he sees the place, but he also does not see the place, and then he's gonna turn back. Oh fuck, I see it too, and then he's gonna turn around so he's facing the same direction as Ashwini, and basically standing shoulder to shoulder because he's freaking out and he needs that slight sense of physical contact, even if it's whatever, so that to know
So
that
what
he's not
happens,
alone.
Ashvini, when Spencer nudges his shoulder against him? What how does Ashvini react to that?
Ashwini kind of startles a little bit, like, oh, okay, and then and then he grabs, like, uh, okay, we're going to start walking away. Turn your back at the count of 3.
You want me to turn away from the weird creepy house, that place that exists but also does not?
You want to keep looking at the creepy house that exists and doesn't exist?
I mean, if we keep walking away backwards, isn't that better? We can see if something's coming for us.
The house is not going to suddenly grow legs. It's not that kind of house.
Yeah, but there could be something inside of it, right? There could be a ghost or a thing. I don't know. You know this better, obviously. How do you know this again?
Uh, I have friends, some real fun friends. Again, I told
What's that
you
like?
this has to do with. It's why I was asking you about like if you like read comic books. That wasn't an entirely like me trying to get you away from here.
We're gonna get away from here, and then we're gonna have a conversation about how your friends exist in comic books, and you think those are real.
Hey man, you're literally just looking at a house that's both here and not here. You really want to start telling me about what's real and what's real? Trust me, you do not want to know what I know is what's real and what's not real. You won't be able to handle it. And I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Okay. Um, I want to try to do something. Is there like, I don't know, a rock or something on the floor that I can pick up
Oh
on the
yeah,
ground and chuck it?
there's yeah, sure.
So I'm going to throw it directly at at the house with as much strength as possible, just to
Oh
see what
boy.
happens. Does it go through? Does it disappear?
The rock does not disappear, but I mean, if it had made contact with a window or whatever, it would have, it would have followed the laws of physics, and you would have broken the window, or you would have, it would have impacted on the exterior. But there was no sound. There was no indication that it had any uh, result, any sort of effect on the house that may or may not be there.
Okay, fuck. Okay, you're right. On the count of three, let's run. Yeah.
Okay. You can I can walk behind you if you want. Like
No, it's fine.
if
We can
that'll
just run
help.
together. I think that's better.
Okay. Cool. And I'm just going to okay. Frog march. Okay? We're going to walk real fast and we're going to get to the empty shack and I'll explain what I can. Okay? I
Well,
don't know
actually,
much.
you probably would have parked your motorcycle at the closer to the highway to Main Street and then walked down. So you're gonna probably have to put him on the back of your motorcycle.
Okay. Okay. Um I'm going I my bike is nearby. You can come and like just I have an extra helmet. You can just sit at the back. I'll drive as
Does she have a
you
sidecar?
uh you know what? I'm going to say she does. Just because I think it would be really funny. She has a sidecar.
Sidecar for the bit.
All right.
Okay, so do you want to sit behind me or do you want to be in the sidecar? What which
Ooh,
part?
I've never sat in a sidecar before. I'm gonna take the sidecar.
Okay, cool. No problem.
Gonna fit though?
Uh you're going to have to
I mean,
scrunch a little
it'll be
bit.
tight. Yeah, it's gonna be a tight fit, but you'll manage.
It's fine. I have crawled through weird spaces before. I think this should be fine. It's all right. Let's go.
Okay.
All right, vroom vroom,
Okay.
back to the EMT shack, back to the fire station. Uh, Declan, you're
Yeah.
standing there and in your feelings.
Yeah. Sure am. Um, I'm going to try something.
Okay,
Um, Declan normally would never do this. He does not want to do this. This is not something I want to do.
okay.
But I'm going to think of that night when I was 13 and all of these people were in the attic doing whatever the hell and being so loud that I could not sleep. And I went upstairs to try to look in on them and see what they were doing. And I have zero memory of that night. Every time I try to think about it, which is not often, that's just where the memory ends.
Mhm.
So I think I'm gonna like sit at the kitchen table and just try really hard to think back and remember what I saw in the attic.
Okay. So roll roll one die and add your power. Oh, your power is a 0, right?
My power is indeed +0.
Okay. Well, you're doing it all the same.
Okay. God. That is a 4.
Okay. Um, you're not able to fully penetrate whatever that mental block is. You push against it in your mind, like you can see, you're opening the attic door, and you can see a couple of shapes of people, and you can hear there is speaking in a language that you do not understand. Um, there is a sound. um,
College.
um, there is a sound that is incredibly unsettling. It's like the sound of many mouths and um, and slurping, and the door shuts, like it pulls out of your hand and it shuts, and you're brought back to the present moment.
Okay. I have an enhancement
Okay.
called Smoke and Mirrors,
Mm-hmm.
which is there is always a logical explanation. You can't convince me this is real. As I'm like trying to rationalize that in my head of what that could possibly be, could I use that? It gives me +1 die.
All right, sure.
And that's I put it on counter.
No, you're still you're not really rolling. No, you're not rolling this is not a reaction. So
Sure.
this is you performing the action. So you're issuing the challenge.
Yes.
So just go ahead and roll the second die and
Uh,
add your power.
okay. So again, +0.
Again,
Okay.
0, right?
Oh, the highest is a 10.
Okay. Well, you tied with me.
Oh,
Yes. And your second die, your second one was a 4, right?
the previous one, yes.
Okay. So you had a 10 and a 4. Well, I had a 10 and a 1.
Mm.
So the door pulled out of your hand, and you reach out real quick and grab it.
Mhm.
You see the edge of what looks like, I mean, again, you're trying to uh, fit this into some sort of a rational explanation.
Yes.
It looks like a mirror, but it's perfectly circular, and it's lit from behind. Inside the mirror, you don't see the reflection of the people standing. You see what could be best described as a creature, and the image of the creature lines up with the sound that you heard of many mouths, of jaws snapping, of slurping, um, and you recognize. Now, just let me just pause real quick and just backtrack a second. So,
Mhm.
um, this memory that you're trying to reconstruct, that
Yes.
was this is just one particular night that you tried to figure out what was going on.
Yes.
Like, this is not. So
This
when
this
did.
was this was the night that she asked me if I wanted to join in, and I snapped at her.
Okay, and that would have been after the fact. Like,
This was then.
she would have asked you after this whole encounter. She would have asked you that afterwards. That's what I'm
No,
asking.
this was like we were having dinner that night. People hadn't arrived yet. She asked if I wanted to join tonight. We got into an
Okay.
argument,
So
and then
this would happen when Declan was 13. So then when did Declan's father die?
before he was born.
Before he was born. That's right. Okay. All right. So it's dinner time. It's before everyone's arrived. Your mother looks at you and says, um, if there's any night where you would want to know what's really going on, tonight would be the night. And obviously you say no, and maybe you say no kind of hesitantly, but in the back of your mind you're curious, and
I
so
yelled
that's
at her.
when and you yelled at her.
Mhm.
So the night passes on, her friends come, they go up to the attic, you get curious, you open the door snaps, but you reach out like it's a reflex. You snap, you reach out, you grab the door and you keep it from shutting, and you're able to see inside, and that's what you see. You see all these people, they are speaking in a language you do not understand. You see this, what it looks like a mirror. It's free floating. It's not on a stand, it's not mounted on a wall. It's just hovering in midair, and inside of it is not a reflection, but in fact some sort of really messed up looking creature. Like you don't even know if you're looking at its head or you're looking at like it doesn't look. um and there's a bright flash of light, and at that point you're brought back to the present moment.
I'm gonna run upstairs. I'm gonna go to the attic.
Okay. So inside the attic there is no mirror,
Mhm.
but everything looks basically the same way that it was left. um, it looks like they had created there's some sort of very elaborate um, diagram that was laid out in chalk. It looks like parts of the diagram have been rubbed away over time. If this was when you were 13 and you're in your early 20s, I mean, you're talking about maybe possibly anywhere from 8 to 10 years. So I mean, there the diagram is intact in some places, but rubbed away in others. Um, but it's an elaborate geometric pattern that was drawn on the floor. Um, that's all there is.
I just get a broom and start getting rid of it.
Okay.
And
Uh,
just the whole time I'm just thinking like he's dead. He's dead. She's dead. They're both dead. They're dead. And I'm just getting rid of this.
as you're sweeping the what remains of the chalk away, you do get a feeling of unease, like cold that washes over you. But as soon as all the chalk is cleared, it passes.
Mhm.
It's 20 minutes to 11. That means we have about 20 minutes left. Do we want to? I'm fine to continue. What does everybody? How does everybody feel?
Whatever you feel.
Okay. Well, so all right. I guess what we'll do is we'll go back to Ashwini and Spencer, and they get back to the EMT shack, and we'll give you guys a chance to at least start the conversation, so to speak. Um, and then we'll wrap it up for this episode. That sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So so Ashwini and Spencer hop into the motorcycle and sidecar and head for the fire station in the EMT shack. Um, it's definitely, I mean, some of your coworkers, there's you could see a couple of buses that are in the parking lot. Um, so it's definitely a little more lively now than it was within the last hour or so. Um, and there you are. So you're a few miles away from the lake and from the anomalous luxury resort that is or isn't. And what would you like to do?
So the entire
Um,
time, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead, go ahead.
The entire car ride, Spencer has said nothing. He's just one excited to be in a sidecar for the first time, but also to just taking all of it in. He's still a little not all the way there from all of the stuff that has just happened. But the minute they stop, the minute he gets off, he just turns to Ashwin. He doesn't even wait for him to get off the bike. He's like, "Tell me everything. I need to know now."
Ashwini kind of looks at him like, okay, fair enough. I did get you all the way out here, though. On Fine, whatever. Just look in my EMT bag. There's a comic book there. Go, just like, you don't have to read the full thing. Just look at like the characters and see if you like anything sticks out to you.
Okay, that is very strange, but okay. Use that to look at.
So
Okay.
Okay, okay. I gotta. I left. I left the diner because I learned one thing with my experiences. All bad things come in threes, and coincidences is once is like, oh, that's funny. Twice is, oh, that's a little, oh, deja vu, yeah. Three times, nothing good comes after three times, especially coincidences. That's why I left. I left the diner in like that kind of hurry, and I wasn't speaking to like that other gentleman who was there. So like, just read the comic, okay? Just I'm telling you, you have to look out for weird signs like this.
okay,
Okay.
so if Spencer starts reading the comic, it is very much like I described before. It's basically the thrilling adventures of the Universal Defenders of Xavier Arcadia, a man called Hagen, and Mr. Andrew Waters. And there are 5 issues. So there's the issue of the the socialite and the rescue of the damsel from the Baron's Hamdi worshippers. There's the issue of they're in Egypt and they are fighting mummies inside of a pyramid. There's the Belt of Brian Baru. Um, there's there's one other one which could be remain to be determined, and then there is uh, the story of how they were hired to protect the Hope Diamond at a World's Fair called the International Exposition in New York City in 1924. So the truth, there's certainly a helping of truth, and the stories were inspired by true events, but they were definitely embellished. So whether or not Xavier Arcadia in fact z- vaporized all these mummies, whether that was actually happened or whether that was made up for the comic book, you know, he'd be the only person I'd be able to tell you for sure, and chances are he's not. He's dead. Um,
Um, okay. So the story about the Hope Diamond is what catches Spencer's eye for two
okay.
reasons. One, because it's a shiny diamond, but also two, because of its history. And
It has a
Spencer.
very storied history, and its storied history is primarily that it was considered to be cursed. That everybody that managed to get their hands on it befell some sort of calamity in some way, shape, or form. Uh, Pierre Cartier supposedly stole it from an Indian idol, um, and he had it cut, reshaped, recut, reset. Um, Evelyn Walsh McLean bought it from Pierre Cartier, and she wanted it recut and reset, and uh, it was on display, definitely for sure, on two separate occasions. One in 1876 at the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia, and one in 1924 at the International Exposition in New York City. The Universal Defenders were hired to protect it at the latter, but in the story in the comic book, it disappears. Ashvidi didn't read that far.
So how accurate is so it says it disappears, but like according to current stuff, it's currently in DC, right? So is that so that's different in the comic compared to what's currently happening with Hope Diamond?
So I mean, you probably have to do a little internet digging, but ultimately, what you find out, what you're able to Google or look up on Wikipedia is that um, it disappeared, but it didn't disappear at that World's Fair. People basically somehow it mysteriously it vanished. So you have two kind of conflicting stories. You have the story in the comic book, which is it disappeared at the World's Fair, that the Universal Defenders failed to keep it safe. And then you have the historical record, which is that it disappeared at some point in maybe the 1930s or 40s, and no one's ever seen it again. And that's
Okay,
where,
okay.
well, I think that's a good place to call the end of the episode.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Let's go.
Thank you so
So
much, Craig.
you're welcome. Thank you for taking part. And we will see everybody next Tuesday for episode 2. Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye, everyone. Bye bye.